Hello, everybody. This is Logan Pettingill. I am an AEI student, and what I'm going to be talking about right now is uh, uh, the mindset you should have going into Jiu-Jitsu. So, your first Jiu-Jitsu class, your first tournament, and tournaments leading after your first tournament, and just every day on the mat. So, your mindset, your mindset for your first ever Jiu-Jitsu class should be to be open-minded. First of all, don't go expecting anything because every school is different. Every jiu-jitsu academy is different, and just every one of them is run different. Every one of them has a different instructor way of giving out their belts and stuff like that. Some schools give you stripes, which are just little pieces of tape that go around your belt, and that's just kind of giving you rank, just kind of giving you little markers of progress as you go along. So your mindset should always just be open-minded without any ego. Don't have any ego. Yeah, if you're first jiu-jitsu class, just don't keep an open mind. Don't worry about it too much because everyone in there will be nice. A lot of people start to think, what if I go in and do this and everyone's mean and everyone's looking to beat me up? Very unlikely, unless you're in a really bad school that doesn't care about their students super well. We call those McDojos. It's a term of basically a fake martial arts academy that doesn't teach you anything and then basically is just scamming out of your money. So before you ever join a gym, first research the gym. For me, the reason I went to my gym is because my head coach, was a professional fighter for over 20 years. Has always been a really good grappler, and he's been a really good teacher. He's led a bunch of guys to big things in fighting and in grappling. And yeah, so go in with an open mind and don't expect. One of the worst things you can expect is that it's gonna go completely great. My suggestion is the first day may not go as planned. I've had this happen where the first day I went in, I thought, oh, I'll be good. I'll at least be to a certain level, and I wasn't. It was not even close. I couldn't even do a basic move that you learn as a beginner. And so I say give it a week of jiu-jitsu before you really make a decision, maybe even 2 weeks, just depending on you. And yeah, so your mindset should always just be go in and be appreciative that you get to go do this. So for when you're actually training, when you've been there for a little bit and you're training just regularly, you should have the mindset of you shouldn't have any ego. If you're a blue belt and you get tapped by a white belt, you shouldn't have any ego. If you're a black belt and you get tapped with by a purple belt who's a bit lower belt than you, you shouldn't have ego. That's a toxic environment. So what should happen, your jiu-jitsu teammates should basically become a second family to you. Happened to me. So all those people I train with are like a brother to me. Like brother figures. They beat me up, but they teach me and they help me. And so going into jiu-jitsu, you should never have any ego. You should never think of it as winning. If you get tapped, there's no winning. There's no losing in jiu-jitsu. There's only learning. I mean, unless you're in a giant tournament that's you're getting paid for, then yes, there's winning. In competition, yes, there's winning. But on the mat, there's no such thing as winning. There's only learning, and there's no such thing as losing. Just learning. So, next, what you should think going into your first tournament. Your mindset shouldn't be to go in there and try and win. It really shouldn't, because you're likely not going to, because a lot of people go in about 6 months in, just depending on how they feel. I personally went in like a month. I did a tournament a month into training. I had barely even rolled a whole lot, and I went and did it and got my feet wet. I did actually pretty well. I took third. Won 2, lost 1. So that's good. But you shouldn't be going and looking to take first, because a lot of people don't do super well in their first tournaments. Some people don't even place. So it's kind of one of those things. And I mean, you have to take into account the style of tournament and stuff like that, and when it is. And believe me, you're gonna be nervous. You're gonna be very nervous for your first jiu-jitsu competition. You're gonna be petrified, honestly, because you've never experienced anything like this. Because I had done team sports not my whole life, but I've done things that were nerve-wracking. I danced for a couple years. For like 2 years, I was a competitive dancer, and we went around and would compete, and I competed in front of more people than I ever had in jiu-jitsu. But it wasn't that. It was the fear of it's more the fear of disappointing people, thinking that they're gonna not love you anymore if you lose, which is totally not true. And yeah, so your mindset should be, don't worry about winning and losing in your first tournament. It's not that big of a deal if you lose. I give you the first 3 tournaments, you really shouldn't care too much if you win or lose. Alright, so now, after you've had at least 3 or 2 tournaments, after you've had a couple under your belt, you should be looking to win. You should not be you shouldn't have the same mindset. You should be looking to think, what you should think is, I'm going to win. I'm not going to lose. There's no way I'm losing this. And really, the only way you learn to think like that is after you've lost, which I have. And so, that's your mindset. So basically, the biggest takeaway from this is to have a positive outlook on it. Be appreciative that you are able to do this. Don't worry too much about wins and losses. When you're ready to take it a little more serious, be confident. Don't be confident in yourself, and then don't have any ego going into training, because it doesn't matter. All right, the next one I'll do is going to be on. How about? Yeah, I'll talk about this next time. So, bye.